What's up, guys? Welcome back to Reddit Confession series, where people spill the tea on their deepest, darkest, and sometimes funniest secrets. Kick back, relax, and let's see what confessions Reddit has for us today. I was falsely accused of rape, and it ruined my life. Hello all, thanks in advance for reading. I'll try to keep it short. When I was 15, I started dating this girl. Let's call her Worm. I had just gotten out of a relationship, and it was sort of a rebound. Things were going great at first. Then, over time, I began to grow apart from her. We didn't share many interests, and just were not right for each other in my eyes. She, on the other hand, was obsessed with me, saw me as the love of her life and her future husband, etc., etc. By the time I got enough balls to fully end it, about 8 months had passed. Within those 8 months, I treated her with nothing but love and respect. After I broke up with her, she began to go insane, telling all her friends, my friends, that I was abusive, beat her, etc., etc., which never happened. This went on for a month or two, with me having to deal with these false accusations every day. I, at this time, had gotten back together with my ex from before I had dated Worm. At some point, it somehow got to a parent who, of course, contacted the school, cops, and that's when the Worm gave her a fake story saying I full force raped her on the couch after everyone fell asleep at a party that I left at 8 p.m. She got her friends who were there to make coho-baiting stories, saying that I was there, being weird with her, etc. I was there with my girlfriend at the time, who didn't let me out of her sight. I won't get into the other holes in the story because the whole thing is BS, so it'd take forever, but this was enough for the police to decide they had probable cause to charge me with rape at the age of 16, without hearing any other side of the story. My parents already knew about the rumors, but they then saw how serious this was, and that my life was at stake for something I didn't even do. We were not rich, but my parents paid thousands on thousands of dollars for a very good lawyer to help me win the case. I was made fun of and bullied by everyone except my close friends at this point, as everyone blindly believed the accuser, because why would you make that up? Then, even my close friends distanced themselves as they were starting to catch heat for still being friends with me. We had all the evidence it didn't happen, where I was that day, her saying she misses me on text after the date I supposedly raped her, and she had nothing except her and her friends' stories. I clearly would have won the case, and after it had been stalled for over 8 months, she dropped the case, not forcing her to admit that she lied and not facing any penalty. I also had very harsh rules for that whole time, or else they could take me into custody. Couldn't talk to girls under 18, even though I was 16 9 p.m. curfew, couldn't be in public without an adult who knew the accusation, etc., etc. I am now 19, with severe social anxiety from the years of bullying and torment I received. I cannot make new friends, because everyone who doesn't know me knows about me because of this. I hate that my parents had to spend $15,000 to defend from something that didn't even happen. Why the F you as a 16-year-old girl have the power to ruin my life? I am a shell of my former self, physically and personality-wise. I constantly smoke weed to forget about my problems and finally relax. She faced no punishment, and it fucking eats at me. Thanks so much for listening. Maybe this is the first step of moving forward. Edit. Thank you all so much for the kind words. I really appreciate it. It saddens me to hear some people have similar experiences, but maybe getting these stories more out there will help it come to a stop. Thanks again. After 13 years clean and 8 years of marriage, I did heroin 3 weeks ago and almost came close to fully relapsing. I was a heroin addict in the Lower East Side of Manhattan in the 1990s. As a teen, I got clean at 21 years old after years of abuse. I got married at 26 to my amazing and beautiful wife. She knows I was an addict. I spent all these years not even really thinking that much about the concept of relapsing. It had been so long. I still thought about it, but with marriage and my kids and everything, the thought of it was just so ridiculously out of sight to even consider trying it again. 3 weeks ago, it was my friend's birthday. He is 4 years younger than me, so of course he wants to go to some cool, hip, sketchy bar, club thing in Bushwick. I got drunk, really drunk. I hadn't really drunk much at all in the past few years, so my tolerance was way lower than expected. There was a dealer outside and a few other junkies nearby. I don't even fully remember what happened. I just remember going with them, abandoning my friend at the bar. It was like 1 a.m. anyway, and going to some apartment and shooting up. I spent the night there, then all the way until noon the next day. I had 10 missed calls. I panicked when I came out of my daze. I told my wife I had gotten way too drunk and was puking, and my phone was out of battery, so I stayed at Charlie's house. She was disappointed I didn't tell her, but also thought it was funny, because she used to tease me for not being able to handle my liquor. This was an I told you so moment. She had told me not to drink too much before I went to the bar. She wasn't even in New York. She was at a summer house with the kids in Massachusetts. I spent the next 4 days until they got back just riddled with anxiety, urges to get more heroin, horrific mind zaps. I don't even know what to call them. It was, in some ways, worse than my withdrawal symptoms when I was first an addict. Not because of the physical feeling, but the horrible mental feeling of what I was possibly giving up, my wife and kids. I wanted to fucking get more, so badly. I left my house to find heroin 4 fucking times. 4 times. I gave up to get more, but wasn't able to find any, and snapped back to reality and went back home. I still thank fucking God I did not somehow run into some street dealer during those 4 times. I would have absolutely done it. I feel like everything I thought about myself, that I was strong, that my addiction was behind me, that I had beaten heroin, it was all gone. I am not going to say I am back at square one, or anything. I am not. But I feel like something inside of me has reset. My unwavering strength against addiction was broken at the slightest temptation. I still am weak. Heroin is so much stronger than me. It's truly unbelievable how much stronger it is than me. When I was young, my aunt had cancer. She beat it. Then it came back soon after, and she beat it again. It didn't come back, and we loved how strong she was for fighting her cancer and that she had overcome it. She lived with us. I remember her feeling of strength after her 2nd year of not having cancer, her 3rd year, her 6th year. It finally felt like it was gone for good. She thinks, it's finally behind me now. It's a part of my past. And then it just fucking came back. 9 years after her first diagnosis, it came back and killed her. I remember her feelings and how she felt about it. So many years after she thought it had gone away. That is how I feel. Like a cancer that I thought I got rid of a decade ago just showed back up on my screening. The first 5 to 6 days after I tried it that time outside the bar were the worst. My kids and wife have come back. The urges mostly went away the second I saw my kids. I hugged them so damn hard. And I never told my family what happened, nor will I ever. My wife never understood that side of me. She met me 5 whole years after I was clean. I just cannot have. Or no, ever. I won't do it again. I am planning on not drinking to excess like that again, except maybe in very specific situations, like at the summer house, where there is no option of drugs. I mean, not like I want to get drunk again like that, but just in case I ever want to get loose. I am never doing that in the city again. I am still about 90% plus sure that I won't ever touch heroin again. I am still positive about it. It's just, it used to be 99% sure. That is what fucking terrifies me. I said heroin is stronger than me. It is absolutely stronger than me. But the reason I won't ever do it again is that it isn't stronger than my family, my wife, and kids. I don't care about how good it feels. I will not subject my wife and children to me being an addict. I would rather just kill myself than do that. I had a son when I was 14, and none of my family knows besides my aunt. I was raped by a family member until I was 13 and moved in with my aunt. She's a good person who took me in and helped me get away from the bad people in my family. When we found out I was pregnant, she guessed how it happened. I hadn't told her about what had happened, but she said she always expected it, but never had proof. She came up with a way to get me away. She pretended to get pregnant and asked my parents if she could get custody so I could move in with her, get homeschooled, and help her out. They said no at first because they knew they'd lose out on food stamps. So she offered to pay them whatever they would have gotten in food stamps in cash in exchange for me living there. They said yeah once they found out cash was involved, and my aunt gave them some extra cash every month to keep them out of our lives. My parents are your regular redneck junkies who are no good to anyone. I had the kid in 1988 and have seen my parents a handful of times since then. She went to court to get custody of me and said my parents dropped me off at her house one day and never picked me up. I went along with that story in court, and it worked out. I said we went back to my house day after day, but they were never home. They were ordered to come to court but never showed up. She got full custody of me, and I lived with her until I was able to get myself a good job. I don't work the best job in the world, but it's better than where I came from, and I'm proud of that. Anywho, she took me to get an abortion, but it was too late due to our state's laws. She pretended to be pregnant, even tried to gain weight, and bought clothes that made her look bigger. I stayed home every day until I had the baby. Everyone thinks it's her kid. I don't feel bad about it, and won't ever tell the kid unless my aunt wants to, or some big emergency happens where he needs a body part. She always said it's my choice to tell, but I think it's her choice too. She raised him, he calls her mama, and I wouldn't want to take that away from them. He doesn't look like me at all. He doesn't really look like my aunt either. He thinks his daddy is some guy she met at a bar she had a one-night stand with, and she doesn't know who he was. He's an adult now and is settling down with his wife, and they're thinking about having kids. It's sometimes weird because I know if they do, they'll be my grandkids, but they'll never know. I don't feel like a parent to him at all. I know he's my biological kid, but I'm not his mama. Every now and then, it makes me sad, but I know it was the right decision to make. He's had a good life. My aunt and I saved up to make sure he could get a good education, and he did that. He knows me as his older cousin, and we get along well. He's a good guy, hardworking, a good person, does what he can to help others. I'm proud of him. Here are answers to questions people have. The person who raped me is in jail for the rest of his life. He was arrested for something unrelated to what he did to me, but he won't be out of jail until he's in his 90s. I doubt he'll live that long. My aunt tried for years to get me to admit what was going on. She tried very hard. Anytime she saw me, she asked if I was okay. She tried to get custody of me when I was a kid, but it didn't work out. My parents acted like decent people, and I denied that anything was going out because of fear. Don't assume she could have done more. She did everything she possibly could, but I was too afraid to speak up. I know DNA tests exist. I don't know if he'll get one done, but we'll talk about what to do if he ever does. It's complicated, and I don't have the answers for what to do, nor do you. Everyone has their own opinions, none are right or wrong. Good intentions aren't always good advice. My parents are both alive as far as I know. I don't speak to them at all, and haven't seen them since the early 2000s. I don't care to reconnect with them. The way I look at it, my aunt is the only mama I ever had, and I don't need to worry about someone who gave me up for drug money. We went to a hospital outside of town to avoid seeing anyone we knew. Growing up, everyone thought I was a shy kid. I was a big reader and spent most of my time inside anyway. No one thought it was weird that I was inside a lot. My aunt had a good job that let her stay at home and work once she started complaining about having to come in while pregnant. That helped us out a lot. Back then, you could call a store to fill in your grocery order, and the grocery boy would drop them off, similar to how stores have deliveries you can order online now. My water broke in the middle of the night. We were lucky with that, as our neighbors never saw us leave. No, I never went to college. When I was a kid, I never thought I'd even graduate high school, but I did. I won't tell you what I do for a living, or where I work. That's a strange thing to message someone. Regardless, I make enough to pay my bills and have a little savings. I used to work 3 jobs to make sure I could pay for his college once the time came. Now I only work 1. I don't like what I do, but I work hard and I'm proud of that. Yes, I know my English isn't perfect. I type like how I talk, and I don't care if you think that's bad. Calling yourself a grammar Nazi is a weird way to identify. I wouldn't want to be called a Nazi about anything, nor would I be proud of that, but I guess you can live your best life, and I pray you stop sending rude messages to people. I don't care about your opinions on abortion, or if you think I'm a bad person for considering it. I was barely a teenager, and it would have been the best choice for me. No, I don't regret having the child now, but I wish I hadn't destroyed my body in the process. I can't have kids now because of the damage that pregnancy caused my body. A few disgusting people have messaged me that this was sexy, that I deserved it, or asked for details. I don't know what the hell is wrong with you, but from the bottom of my heart, I hope you die. The world doesn't need more sick fucks like you. Yes, I know my aunt is a great person. She's the best person I have ever known, not just because she helped me. I think she would have done the same thing for anyone. She's an angel. I have literally done nothing at work for a decade. I have a great job in Canada doing data entry and analytics. I would prefer not to give the field of work as it's fairly specific. 70K a year, benefits, whole 9 yards. Really awesome. The confession is that all of my info is pulled from standard Excel files made by other people. In my first month, I made a macro that pulls from 50+ places on our shared drive and compiles a 5-page report daily. The email sends itself at random times around 2:30 every day, Monday, Friday. Everyone thinks I'm amazing at my job. I'm the laziest fuck you'll ever meet. I'm almost done getting a VPN function approved that will allow me to work from home. Edit because this blew up way more than I thought. This is a throwaway, so no worries about my boss finding out. A lot of questions about what I'm doing with my time. I've actually done a program through work that allows me to get my education for free. I have my master's now, and am working on some other things. A lot of positive comments about working smart, not hard. Much appreciated. How long did it take me to figure it out? Did the old way for 2 weeks before I realized what I could do. Took another week of doing the report while working on the macro. Then a week of troubleshooting. So, about a month after I started, it became automated. And people have asked about vacations, sick days. I have a work laptop, so sick days are not an issue, although I think I've called in twice in 10 years. Vacations, I just disable it. Simple. Small funny story on this topic. When we had our first child, he came 3 weeks early. I was so caught up that I completely forgot about the email. Otherwise, I would have disabled it. It was sent out, and I received accolades for being so dedicated. I found out my high school bully is dead, and I'm ecstatic. A couple of days ago, I found out that the guy who bullied me all throughout high school died, and honestly, I couldn't be happier. My friends all tell me I'm terrible for being happy, but they have no idea what I went through because of him. He almost drove me to suicide, and knowing he's dead just makes me feel better. I feel bad for his parents, and I'd never wish that upon anyone to outlive their children, but I just can't help myself. Edit. Since it's coming up a lot, I just want to clarify. I never wish death upon him. I know he was a terrible person and did terrible things, but I never wish the guy were dead. Edit 2. For those asking or wondering how he died, I don't know. I assume it was drugs or alcohol because the obituaries never stated anything, nor was it explained on social media. I also made the assumption off of what his personality was like. Edit 3. After thinking about it all day and reading through the comments, I came to realize that ecstatic wasn't the correct word. It's more relieved and indifferent. I don't know what his home life was like or what made him into the bully that he was. All I know is that all he did was bully me and make my life miserable. Could he have been different? Maybe. Could he have changed his ways since then? Maybe. It doesn't change what he did. Life happens, people live, and people die. There's nothing we can do about it. Hindsight is 20/20. If I could go back and tell myself to stand up and not take it, I would, but I can't. There are a lot of things I would have done differently regarding it, but it's done. It's in the past. Nothing can change it. I should have left him 3 years ago, and now I'm marrying him. I need to confess something, and I know people might have their opinions about it. I've never shared this with anyone before, but I feel like I need to get it off my chest. I'm getting married in a week, but I've been carrying some unresolved feelings since the day he proposed. I, 29, female, am marrying a man, 34 male, whom I love, but I'm struggling with deep insecurities. I've never cheated on him. I've always been honest and loyal. But he emotionally cheated on me. He was texting other women, making inappropriate comments, and even saying he wanted to sleep with them. At the time, I was ready to leave, but he convinced me he would change. He has been better for the last 3 years, but I still carry this nagging fear and doubt in my mind. What he did really affected me. It hurt my self-esteem, my confidence, and even my sense of self-respect. I feel like I allowed myself to stay, and that's something I struggle with. He is a good guy, genuinely kind and loving when he's with me, but I can't shake the anxiety about what he's doing when I'm not around. Who is he messaging? Who is he liking or hearting on social media? It's like I don't fully trust him, and that hurts. Maybe I'm overthinking things or even being irrational, but I feel like he's the one who made me this way. I'm ashamed of how I've let this relationship affect me, and how far I've let it progress, and I feel like I'm too far in to back out now. Instead of constantly asking myself if I'm making the right choice, I tell myself, make the right choice. So I'm trying to just enjoy the connection we have and push my doubts aside. But deep down, I wonder if I'm the right person for this relationship, especially considering his narcissistic tendencies. It's exhausting. and I'm just sad. I don't know what the future holds, but I'm trying to make the best of it. Edit. Thank you all for, the comments. I still have the same unresolved feelings. Per this thread, I was just confessing how I felt and my thoughts. As all of you recommended, I confronted him with my issues and we talked it out, but per usual, the argument never got resolved. Resisting couples counseling and won't do open phone policy till we're married, I do not know if I'm strong enough to break this engagement. And if I do break it, a huge part of me feels like I'll regret it. Because after all, he does treat me well, but it's the respect I do not know if he's giving me, the respect that I deserve, and the respect of my boundaries. But the nagging feeling that he would ever get so far as to physically cheat is what's killing me. And the lies are the worst. For now, this issue is being tabled. Again. I hope we come out of this stronger than before, but until he meets me in the middle and agrees to open phone policy and couples counseling, ITK, if we'll survive. Thank you all. For the comments and DMs, does anyone else think I'm controlling? Be honest. And that's it for today's Reddit confessions. Some of those were absolutely wild. I'm still processing a few of them. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and let me know in the comments if you want more confession videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.